guys. Today in this week's Candid Cap clip, we're going to be talking about the military. This is something that is very much a part of our lives because Aaron has served in the military, and in our years since being married, we've kind of talked a lot about how we feel about having our boys serve in the military, if that's something that we would be excited about. And also, I will reveal my own personal history with the military as we go on to this clip. Aaron, how do you feel about the recent discussions over people meeting the criteria to be in the military?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so to get into the military, a lot of people have known this for many years, but it seems to be not common knowledge because of the recent controversies about getting into the military. I thought it was common knowledge, but apparently there are a lot of people who don't understand. But it's actually very hard to get into the military.
Very hard.
Surprisingly hard, because most people look at it as, well, if nothing else works, I'll just join the military.
Yes, like that Plan Z, almost.
Not the way it works.
Okay, sorry, Plan B, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's not how it works. Generally, the deal with the military is they don't want people that are crazy.
They want the best, basically. They want young, fit, capable people.
And they want people that are healthy.
Yes.
So, not just healthy physically, but mentally.
Mentally capable and physically capable. So, this idea that any person at any time in their life can just sign up to be in the military.
Totally not true.
Totally not true.
Not only not true, but it's not that they're being picky to hurt people or to they literally have a reasoning behind it that is far more important than I think a lot of people are looking at. I think a lot of people are overlooking how important it is that someone with a machine gun next to you is mentally stable. Yes,
that your teammate is not just like a coworker. These people are literally there to have your back and possibly save your life.
And we're not just talking about, the sake of mentally ill people having guns. We're also talking about people that aren't mentally ill, but may or may not handle stress well with a gun. And so, there is a temporary type of insanity that can happen in stressful times. So, for example, you're in a life-death situation, you could overreact to things that are simple and mundane because of that. And those temporary insanity type things are not where you want people that are fighting wars, together, experiencing. And if they can't handle that kind of stress and handle it in such a way where they don't kill everyone else with them, then they don't need to be in the military with our other, sons and daughters and brothers and sisters and so on and so forth. So the thought behind the military having these restrictions may seem rough at times if you're one of those people that thought that you could do it and was denied, but are 100% logical.
Okay, so that was actually me. I tried to join the military, and I really had no thought that I wouldn't make it in. When I met with the recruiters, I went through all the testing, and my recruiter was like, "You are awesome," and they were super excited. I was testing to actually come in as an officer because I was already a working professional with a degree. And then at the very last minute, when I revealed that I had struggled with depression, and it was years ago. At the time, I was like, many, many years ago, I struggled with depression. That was it. Like, literally, I never talked to my recruiter again. They never responded to my calls, and it was shocking. Honestly, I was shocked. I was like, well, can't anybody go into the military like you were saying, like as a plan B? And when we think about our sons joining, it tends to be like, well, I don't know, they could die, but there are perks. Like, it's an honor to be able to serve. Not a lot of people can actually meet the requirements to serve. And when people fudge the truth to get in, because that does happen, what do you think about that? And this is actually very controversial because I think there probably are a lot of people in the military who have not been truthful. I'm just going to say that.
And I know those people, and it doesn't mean that the military would be right by saying no to them. That's another thing people understand.
That's tricky.
it doesn't mean automatically that if I had emotional issues and I brought up that I had emotional issues as a child, and they say, hey, maybe you shouldn't come in, that they are wrong or right for that. I could come in and perform just fine. The problem is they have to be very, very careful. And so when they are presented with information, they're making the best judgment they can based on that information, and they have to err in the side of being protective to the other people that are serving. And so people need to not take it personally. And if they lie, they're taking a chance.
Well, here's my thought on this. My thought on this is, after talking to Aaron about going through boot camp and going through kind of the vetting process. Well, had you already signed when you went to boot camp? Like, what is you fail out of boot camp? You can still fail. You can sign on, but you can fail. Okay.
But they make it sound like that you can't back out even after you sign and get sworn in.
Yeah.
Really, until you're out of boot camp, you're not necessarily stuck.
My feeling is that boot camp will weed out, and I don't know this for sure, but I would think that if you were dealing with psychological issues, if you had some kind of a physical ailment that really prevented you from being able to serve, I think that boot camp would probably weed out a lot of those people. What do you think about that?
Well, ironically, it does weed out a lot of those people, and it's not fail-safe. However, it is designed to not just to weed out people, but also to form them into different-minded human beings.
Well, because I also think this is a topic that people don't talk about. I don't know many people who out there might say, yeah, I know someone who tried to get in the military, went to boot camp, and failed at a boot camp. I do too. I know them because of you, actually. Because if you were to ask me how many people went through that experience, first of all, I don't know that many people who have openly talked about trying to get into the military that didn't actually serve. And then of those people, most people I don't think talk about why they were rejected, because it's such kind of I think there's just a misconception that anybody can serve in the military. It's not that hard, and it's entirely up to you if you decide, not whether you can actually
do it. It's not a right
to
serve the country in that way.
Yes.
That's another thing. It's not a right. It's not saying that you yourself don't have a right to defend your country or whatever else. You can look for another way to serve your country.
Yeah.
It's just military is a special, different way of serving your country that puts people under incredible stress, incredible life fight or flight stress, and sometimes over a prolonged period of time, which is where people get PTSD. It's and that means a normal person has been broken by the stress. A normal person has been broken by the stress. You understand now why it's so important that if someone has an issue already, that they don't go through something that would break a normal, healthier person, a person that has no ailments mentally, gets broken by this kind of stress. So it's very important. The people that slip through the cracks are the people that go on shooting massacres in their barracks.
Well, it can be, yeah. That can happen.
Has happened.
Yeah. We actually have more we could talk about. So if we get comments or people want to know more about Aaron's military service, we can talk about that, because he has some incredible stories. Like insane. But we are huge supporters of the military in our family. Yes. It would be an honor for our boys to serve. Yep. We hope that they choose at least to investigate that path. And so it's been good talking to you guys, and we will see you next week. Bye.
You.